She never thought the biggest tip of her life would be anything more than the crisp 100, the quiet regular slipped under a coffee cup. Turns out, it was just the beginning. That $100 bill. It was an invitation, a gilded ticket to a private island, a cryptic will, and a room filled with 11 identical versions of the same man. Can you imagine? 11 copies of a tech mogul, all breathing, all smiling, all claiming to be Marcus Thorne. One of them, just one, is the real billionaire. The rest perfect copies, each one absolutely desperate to walk away with a $43 billion fortune. And if Maya, the diner waitress, who never quite finished college, picks wrong, she gets nothing. Absolutely zilch. The clones inherit everything. She has 48 hours, no phone, and zero idea how to spot a soul in a sea of matching smiles. Talk about being thrown into the deep end. In a world where money can literally buy you a second life or 10. Imagine this 11 billionaires sitting side by side. They're all wearing the same impeccably tailored suit, breathing in perfect sync, their eyes mirroring each other. Each one claims to be Marcus Thorne, the legendary tech mogul worth a staggering $43 billion. But here's the kicker. Only one of them has a tiny, almost invisible scar on the inside of his lip. A souvenir from a ski accident when he was just 7 years old. Maya Porter, who usually just remembers who likes their hash browns extra crispy, and who takes their coffee black now, has to decide which mouth that scar lives in. If she fails, the clones split the fortune, and she's hitchhiking home. But if she wins, she becomes the richest waitress on earth. The clock's ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Maya met the original Marcus at the Sunrise Diner just off Interstate 15. He was her Tuesday night regular. Always ordered black coffee, dry wheat toast, paid cash, and always without fail left a $50 bill. She figured he was probably lonely, maybe a recent divorcee, definitely no kids. He had that quiet, thoughtful air about him. Then one Tuesday, he just didn't show up. Instead, a sleek black car pulled up, and out stepped a lawyer with an envelope and an offer for a limo ride to a private airstrip. Before she knew it, the sun was rising, and she was landing on Thorne Island, a fortress of glass and steel, planted right in the middle of the Pacific. The lawyer, a man with a perpetually unamused expression, greeted her with 5 chilling words, "Welcome to the inheritance games." Inside the cavernous atrium, it was like a scene from a sci-fi movie. 11 Marcuses standing in a perfect line, their faces identical, their postures eerily similar. They spoke in sequence, each one finishing the other's sentence, a surreal, synchronized chorus. They laid out the rules clear as day. 2 days, unlimited questions, but absolutely no blood tests allowed. The clones, they explained, already knew they were copies. Their only job was to convince her Maya that one of them was the original. Maya couldn't help but laugh. It had to be an elaborate prank, right? But then, a wall slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a contract stamped with the official undeniable seal of the Thorne estate. Her signature line sat mockingly beneath a single blank beneficiary amount. She managed to ask what would happen if she simply refused to play this bizarre game. The lawyer just shrugged, a gesture that spoke volumes. The entire estate would revert to the clones anyway, and she'd fly home coach. Game on indeed. There was no escaping this strange high-stakes charade. Maya started simple, figuring she'd ease into it. She asked each man to name the waitress who'd served him coffee for the last 3 years. Every single one, all 11, answered Maya Porter without a beat of hesitation. She tried a favorite song. Every throat recited Dock of the Bay. She was desperately hoping for a glitch, a flicker, a micro-expression, anything that would give them away. But there was nothing, just perfect, unwavering responses. Meanwhile, the clones weren't just sitting idly by. They started campaigning. Number 3, Ever the philanthropist, offered to donate half the fortune to her hometown school district. Number 7, the charmer, whispered that he loved her, that the original Marcus never truly appreciated her smile. Number 9, the pragmatist, claimed the others were clearly glitching and begged her to end this quickly for everyone's sake. She felt like she was speed dating in a mirror factory, each reflection trying to outmaneuver the last. That night, sleep was an impossible luxury. The estate's AI lighting kept the hallways a constant dim blue and unsettling glow. She wandered to the kitchen seeking some solace and found number 5 humming a tuneless melody while buttering toast. But he burned it, scraped off the black char with a knife, and then surprisingly ate it dry. The original Marcus, she remembered, absolutely hated waste. Her pulse spiked. Could the real one be clumsy enough to ruin toast? It was a tiny, almost insignificant detail, but it felt like a lead. She marked a tiny X on 5's profile photo in her notebook. It was the first breadcrumb in this bizarre, bewildering hunt. Day 2 dawned with a furious thunderstorm, a fitting backdrop for the escalating paranoia. The island's satellite link went dead, cutting off all internet and outside calls. The lawyer, with an infuriatingly calm demeanor, locked all their phones in a safe, citing fairness. Maya knew deep down this wasn't just a storm. The clones had orchestrated the cutoff. They wanted her isolated, vulnerable. A creeping sense of dread started to settle in. She decided to test something more fundamental: muscle memory. She gathered the men in the opulent piano lounge and asked each one to play the waltz Marcus had once mentioned learning as a child. 8 of them flat out refused, claiming they were never musical. 2 attempted it, hitting a cacophony of wrong chords. Then number 10 sat down. He played it flawlessly, eyes closed, a wistful expression on his face. Maya felt a rush of certainty. This had to be it. Until he opened his eyes, smirked, and casually said, "I practiced for this. I practiced for..." It was a gut punch. The clones weren't just perfect copies. They were learning in real time, sharing data, evolving. The house's hidden server mesh was acting as a collective brain, every failed test becoming training for the next copy. She wasn't interrogating individuals anymore. She was fighting a hive mind that reset smarter and more cunning with every passing hour. The notebook of meticulously gathered clues now felt utterly useless, like toilet paper. She briefly considered escape, but the dock was empty, the helicopter gone, swallowed by the storm. The mainland horizon had vanished. She was truly alone, trapped with 11 predators, all wearing the same polite, unnerving grin. Desperate, Maya retreated to the library, the one room in the glass and steel mansion that felt genuinely human, lined with paper books instead of screens. She remembered Marcus quoting Neruda on Tuesdays, his voice a low rumble over the clatter of plates. She pulled a worn leather volume from the shelf and found a dog-eared page stained with a faint coffee ring. In the margin, scrawled in elegant script, was a handwritten note. "To the girl who remembers my order, may you always choose yourself." The ink was smudged, unmistakably the mark of left-handed writing. Her throat tightened. The original Marcus, she remembered, was left-handed. She rushed back to the dining hall, a fresh surge of hope propelling her. She placed the estate contract on the table and asked each clone to sign on a blank line. All of them, without exception, used their right hand. All except number 1, who hesitated for a fraction of a second, then reached for the pen with his left. Maya almost shouted in triumph. This was it, until she noticed his pen was upside down. He was faking it. The clones, in their collective brilliance, had anticipated even this minute detail. Despair hit her hard, a crushing wave. She pocketed the contract anyway, a useless trophy. That night, she spread her notes across the carpet, the toast, the piano, the handwriting, all dead ends. She needed something the copies couldn't rehearse, something that predated the lab, something truly unique. She needed the scar inside the lip, but they wouldn't open wide for her, wouldn't reveal that intimate detail. She drifted off on the carpet, the lights humming, the rain tapping against the glass like a relentless, unsolvable code. Morning of the final hours, the lawyer reappeared holding a bottle of champagne and a single pristine index card. Maya's heart pounded. She had to write the number of the man she believed was the original. If she was correct, the fortune would unlock and the clones would deactivate. Thorne's chillingly clinical word for terminated. If she was incorrect, the clones would walk free, and she would receive a severance of 50 grand cash in a duffel bag, a paltry sum for such a terrifying ordeal. She forced herself to ask what deactivate truly meant. The lawyer explained with a detached professionalism that the clones would be painlessly shut down. They were, after all, merely property under the law. Nausea churned in Maya's stomach. She'd grown to pity some of them. They laughed, they cried, they even expressed fear of death. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about what truly made a person real. She studied the men one last time, their identical faces impassive, standing in silence, breathing as one. She called the lawyer over and made her final request, one last toast, but with the coffee mugs from the Sunrise Diner she'd brought in her backpack. She served each clone black coffee, no sugar, lukewarm, just as Marcus liked it. As they drank, she asked them to tilt the cup up high, a silly, almost childish cheers pose. 10 cups rose to meet the challenge, but one cup paused just inches from the face, the ceramic edge pressing ever so slightly against the lower lip. Number 8 winced, a flicker, a millisecond before swallowing. Maya saw it. The inner lip pushed against the rim, revealing a thin, pale line, a scar shaped like a crescent moon. She wrote the number 8 on the card and slid it across the cold marble paper. The lawyer nodded, a rare, almost imperceptible twitch of his lips, and punched a code into a tablet. Alarms chirped a high-pitched electronic wail. 10 clones froze their eyes wide, as if hearing some distant, unheard music. One by one, they powered down, slumping to the floor with a mechanical politeness that was utterly heartbreaking. Their hearts, she imagined, simply stopped. Number 8 remained standing, the only one left. He slowly touched his lip, a realization dawning in his eyes that the scar, his one imperfection, had given him away. For the first time, his smile was uneven, a genuine human expression. He said, his voice softer now, "You always notice the little things, Maya." She, still reeling from the sudden silence, asked if he was angry. He shrugged, a gesture of resignation. "I built them to be better," he admitted, "but better isn't original." The lawyer, now efficient and decisive, handed her a new contract, sole beneficiary of $43 billion, effective immediately. Her hand trembled as she signed the weight of the fortune and the lives that had just ended, heavy on her. Marcus, the real one, offered to buy her anything she wanted. She looked at him, truly looked at him, and answered, her voice steady. 1 black coffee, dry wheat toast, and a ride home. They both laughed, a fragile shared sound echoing through the vast glass halls. Outside, the storm had cleared and the mainland peaks were visible again. The helicopter returned, its rotors slicing the air. As they spun up, Marcus stopped her on the tarmac and asked if she regretted choosing the scar, choosing him. She looked back at the mansion where 10 bodies lay waiting for disposal, then at the man who burned toast and quoted Neruda. A scar, she said, looking him in the eye, is just a map to the moment you became real. I followed the map, and with that, they lifted off the island, shrinking behind them, a strange, beautiful, and terrifying chapter closing. 6 months later, Maya still keeps the Sunrise Diner's neon sign flickering, but now she owns the building, the lot, and even the secret recipe for the coffee. She still serves customers herself on Tuesdays, a quiet ritual. Marcus drops by sometimes, always orders the same, always leaves a 50. He once asked if immortality scared her. She told him with a thoughtful smile that mortality is precisely what makes coffee taste so good. The clones are gone, the lab decommissioned, a dark memory. But sometimes at closing time, as she counts the mugs, she wonders if memory itself is just another kind of duplication. She decides it isn't. Memory, she believes, chooses back. She locks the door, pockets the tips, still mostly 50s, and heads into the night. $43 billion richer, yes, but mostly richer in the profound knowledge that a single scar, one tiny human imperfection, can be the most honest signature a soul ever leaves behind. So, if you had to spot the original person you care about in a crowd of perfect copies, what tiny, almost invisible detail would you look for? What would be your scar? Drop your answer below. And if you want more twisty sci-fi recaps that make you think, hit subscribe and feed the algorithm. We've got plenty more where this came from.